Yes, good morning friends. Today we are going to see the most important group, that is BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Right? This summit right now it's going on, and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in South Africa to attend this summit. Right? So this is the 15th BRICS summit. So let us understand the significance or the relevance of BRICS in this world order, in this geopolitics. Similarly, we are going to see what is the agenda of the present summit, and the most crucial thing is the dilemma India is facing right now. Because the dilemma is because Russia and China, they are part of BRICS and Western countries are not part of BRICS, right? So it's always a tough task to balance between the two, right? To balance between Western countries as well as blocs led by Russia or China. So how India maturely going to do this dilemma or resolve this dilemma, we will see in this video, right? So do subscribe and share the video so that I can bring more and more such type of videos, right? So let us begin the class. So geopolitical uncertainty, right? I have mentioned in this slide geopolitical uncertainty. Do you know what it means? In the whole world there is a crisis, there is an instability in the form of food crisis, energy crisis, fertilizer crisis, particularly after war between Russia and Ukraine. There is so much crisis or disorder, right? So there is a geopolitical uncertainty in the whole world. So in fact, India has to tide over this crisis so that the next month we have G20 summit. You know it, right? The next month, that is September 9 to 10, we have a G20 summit, and to make that summit a success, what India needs to do, right? So let us begin the historical background of BRICS without delay, right? In the early 2000, listen, in the early 2000, there is a paper, there is a scholarly paper. The name of the paper is Goldman Sachs paper, right? Goldman Sachs paper is the name of a paper, right? Newspaper. So the thing is, in this newspaper, for the first time, the word BRIC was appeared. BRIC, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China. These four countries, this group was appeared in this paper in the early 2000s, and they said that these are the fastest growing developing economies, right? These are the fastest growing developing economies other than G7. You know G7, right? You can comment what is G7, what are the countries of G7, and is Russia part of G7? Anyway, comment it. Anyway, the answer is no, Russia is not part of G7. Check it. So the point is here, these BRIC countries are going to play a vital role in the world economy. That's what the Goldman Sachs paper is saying. So accordingly, the first summit happened in 2009, right? The first summit happened in 2009, not 2000. The first summit happened in 2009, and in that only Brazil, Russia, India, China, right? Later on, please listen, later on in 2010, South Africa added into it, right? In 2010, South Africa added into it, and the recent one is 15th summit. Recent one is 15th summit, the 2023, and the direct question, sir, what is the declaration of the present BRICS summit? What is the name of the declaration? The answer is Johannesburg Declaration, right? The answer is Johannesburg Declaration, and the first summit of BRICS happened in 2009, not 2000, right? The first summit in 2009, and in 2010, South Africa added to it. Then it's known as BRICS, right? So let us understand what is the agenda of BRICS summit. What is the agenda, right, of the present BRICS summit that is going on, right? Johannesburg Declaration. So if you look at the agenda, sir, almost some 40 countries, almost some 40 countries are looking for BRICS membership. You got the point, right? Now only 5 countries are there, but almost some 40 countries are looking for membership. It means expansion of BRICS membership is going to happen, and in fact 4 countries are ready to join: Iran, Argentina, UAE, Saudi Arabia. These 4 countries are also coming this summit. They may join in this 15th summit. We need to wait and watch. We need to wait and see what is going to happen, whether the BRICS membership is going to be increased or not in this summit or not, right? The first agenda is expansion of BRICS membership, right? So now the question is, please listen, now the question is why most of the countries are looking at BRICS membership, right? This is the next question. Why Iran, why Argentina, why UAE, or why Saudi Arabia are looking for BRICS membership? The answer lies in the next point. The answer lies in the next point, that is, please listen. We all know that after Second World War, organizations like World Bank and IMF, they were created in 1944, right? They were called as Bretton Woods institutions. World Bank and IMF, they are combined called as Bretton Woods institutions, created in 1944, and United Nations created in 1945, right? United Nations Security Council. The 5 countries which have veto power. The point is here, these organizations are post Second World War organizations, and the point is these are dominated by Western countries like America, United States of America, European countries, right? So we can say that the organizations like UN or World Bank or IMF, they are not representing the present realities of global order. Right, this is clear, right? They are not representing the present realities, because you can see that there are so many developing countries or poor countries, their interests are not represented. That is why other countries are looking for the membership of other organizations so that they can make their voice heard. Got the point, right? So if their voice is not heard in these organizations like United Nations, then what do? They go and join other organizations, like it can be Brics, it can be Shanghai Cooperation Organization or any other group, so that their interests are protected. That's why almost some 40 countries are looking to expand the membership of Brics. We need to see, and let us understand what is multipolarity, right? Multipolar order. The today's world is multipolar order. Let us understand what is multipolar order. So please listen. After Second World War, there was bipolar order. Do you know this? Bipolar order. Please listen. Bipolar means there are 2 poles, right? The word itself says bipolar means there are 2 poles. One pole is America, United States of America, and other pole is Soviet Union, United USSR, right? Soviet Russia. The point is here, please listen. These are bipoles. These are bipoles created after Second World War, right? But we all know that after 1991, the disintegration of Soviet Russia happened. You know this, right? Disintegration of Soviet Russia happened, and America became the center of power in the whole world. You got this right? America, United States of America became the center of power in the whole world. That is why after 1991, we call it as unipolar world. You got this right? After 1945 to 1991, it is called as bipolar world because of the creation of 2 powers, 2 superpowers, that is USA and USSR. After 1991, after the balkanization or disintegration of USSR, a unipolar world emerged led by America, right? But now, sir, in this 21st century, it is no more unipolar world. It is no more unipolar world. It is a multipolar world. It means there is no one center of power or 2 center of powers. There are multiple poles of centers of power. It means India is also a powerful country, Russia, China, Japan, Germany, Saudi Arabia. The point is here, many countries also have some nuclear weapons also, right? So North Korea also. So the point is here, many countries are emerging as centers of power in this whole world. That's why it is called as a multipolar world. So in this multipolar world, every country wants their aspirations, wants their needs to be fulfilled, right? If their voice is not heard, then definitely they go for the membership of other organizations like Brics, right? This is the meaning of multipolar world, which means there are many centers of power in this geopolitical world, right? And other agenda, last point of the agenda, all the Brics countries, they are looking to increase their trade, right? How to increase the trade, particularly at the time of uncertainty or instability, because we all know that war between Russia and Ukraine, what happened to the price of crude oil, and we know the debt crisis of United States of America, right? Debt crisis. America is in debt crisis. The point is here, if something happened to dollar, please listen to this point. If something happened to dollar, it is going to create fluctuations in our market. I repeat, sir, if something happened to dollar, it is going to create some fluctuations in our markets also, right? Because dollar is a international currency, global currency. Now the Brics countries are looking to exchange their local currencies, that is swappings, right? Why cannot be for example, you can see in India-Russia trade, right? Russia is providing us crude oil. In fact, Russia is the topmost crude oil importer to India right now, and India is paying to Russia in rupee, not in dollar, right? Because Russia is sanctioned by America, so the trade between India and Russia is in rupee. Similarly, the India-UAE relationship of trade is also in rupee and dirham. Similarly, India-Indonesia is also in rupiah currency, rupiah currency. It means the point is here in Brics countries also they are looking for a currency, local currency transactions, or a currency like euro currency, right? You know, European countries have a euro currency, so that they can increase the trade without depending excessively on dollar, right? So they are all looking for to increase the trade, right? So local currency transactions you all know. So let us understand what is the dilemma of India right now facing, right? So please understand there are some global challenges, right? There are some global challenges like climate change, terrorism, poverty, and a refugee crisis, right? You know, refugee crisis like Rohingyas from Myanmar, right? India witnessed. The point is here, please listen. These are all global challenges, right? Not a particular national challenge. It means they have no boundaries, right? They have no boundaries. It can air pollution or water pollution. They have no boundaries. In other words, what we need is international collaboration, global cooperation to face these challenges effectively, right? So that is why India believes in equitable global governance. What is equitable global governance or inclusive global governance means? All the countries' interests needs to be represented in the institutions, in the world institutions like World Bank or IMF or UN, right? Just now I have told you there is a Western dominance. Right now there is a Western dominance in international organizations like World Bank or IMF, and India wants to change it. India aspires to change the present global governance into more equitable, more inclusive, more representative, so that the interests of all countries are protected, because all these challenges cuts across all the countries, right? Climate change is not a developed country problem and developing countries problem. It's a problem of humanity, right? It's a problem of humanity. Terrorism is a problem of humanity. You cannot say that this is your problem or my problem. This is a problem of whole humanity, right? This is one dilemma, and because most of the Western countries do not want to let go their power, right? So next month, sir, next month in September we have G20 summit, September 9-10, and we all know that Russia and China, they are not agreeing on the language used in the final declaration. In the final declaration, in the G20 final declaration, that is in the Delhi, right? In the Delhi declaration going to come in the language, right? Russia is not accepting the language because Russia does not want to use the word like Ukraine war, right, in the final draft of G20, but the Western countries like United States of America wants to mention the war, right, wants to mention the war or war sanctions, about how the Russia's crisis, how the humanitarian crisis done because of Russia, right? So the Western countries wants to mention that language, but Russia does not want it. So there is a crisis, or there is a gap between Russia, China or Western countries. So that is why this Brics summit provides an opportunity for India. Please listen, sir. This Brics summit provides an opportunity for India to persuade, to convince Russia and China on the language used in the final draft of G20. Right? They can persuade, right? Because it is prestigious for India. If G20 summit next month, if it happens and no final declaration, no final draft emerges, suppose no final draft emerges out of that summit, means it's a shame, it's a national shame, right? Definitely India, it definitely does not happen. The thing is, that's why we need some Indian diplomacy. This is the strength of Indian diplomacy. Definitely it shows how matured the Indian diplomacy is in persuading the China or Russia, right? And the last point, sir, this Brics summit also provides an opportunity to Modi to talk to Chinese president, particularly on the military standoff, because we all know that almost some 1 lakh soldiers, remember, almost some 1 lakh soldiers are stationed on the borders, that is line of actual control, that is between India and China. They are all stationed. The tensions are high, so we need to diffuse the tension by talking to China, right? So this provides an opportunity for Modi to talk to China's president to diffuse the tensions. And last point, sir, India always acts as a bridge. The third point, or India always acts as a bridge, means it's a connecting link between Western nations and China-Russia bloc. Remember this. It's a connecting link. If there is some miscommunication between America and China or America and Russia, India is there. India is there to act as a communication link, connecting link, so that the problem is resolved in a mature manner, so that global peace is restored, right? Global peace is restored, global security is restored, right? So India always acts as a bridge, right? India is not taking the side of Western nations, nor is it taking the side of Russia-China bloc. You got this right. India has a strategic autonomy. You know this, right? India has independence in its foreign policy. India has a strategic autonomy. It means India is not taking any sides, sir. India is not taking any sides. The point is here, India has its own national interests, but the same time, India has to protect the interests of world citizens, right? Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. You know this. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. You know, we will take it upon. So India always protects its autonomy in all its policies. It can be foreign policy or oil policy or any other policy. That's why it's called strategic autonomy. And this is about India's dilemma, how it's going to resolve those dilemmas in a mature manner, in a wise manner, in a sane manner, right? So the way forward, sir, I have already said Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So, and the theme of the upcoming G20 is One Earth, One Family, One Future. That is the theme of the upcoming G20 summit, going to be held in the next month, September. So this theme itself says that India represents the interests of developing countries, the interests of poor countries, because I have already mentioned you climate crisis, or how the glaciers melting, how now heat waves, forest fires, earthquakes, tsunamis, how, and similarly, you know, once the oceans rises, definitely it's going to impact the small island countries, right? So that is why India is the voice of global south, right? India is voice of the global south, because south countries are generally known for developing countries or poor countries. So India is known for Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It always upholds the mantra of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and always believes that the whole world is a single family. The whole world is a single family. We are not isolated. We are not alienated. We are all interconnected, interlinked in this global world. We are not isolated. No more. Right? Particularly in the age of globalization, digital age. Right? We are not isolated. So let us take a question. Discuss the relevance of groups. Discuss the relevance of groups like Brics, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and the changing geopolitical realities. Right? In the present changing political realities, you need to mention how Brics is relevant positively, how Brics and SCO is relevant. At the same time, what are the limitations of Brics and SCO? Right? Definitely there are some limitations out there in Brics and SCO because Russia and China, they are not democratic countries, right? Similarly, compared to other groups like G20, G7 or Quad, they are more powerful, right? So discuss the positives as well as the limitations of these groups and take a balanced viewpoint, because all international organizations, all regional groupings are there to protect the interests of world, right? Geopolitical world. It's not my interests or your interests. Our interests are interlinked, right? So let us wind up the class. So do subscribe and share the video for more such videos. Thank you.